Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday night on the GSMC Sports Network to bring you the latest thing in terms of professional wrestling. Well, good to see you guys. Hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys are preparing for another tremendous edition of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. But we also do have a pretty awesome showcasing of sports happening this weekend. Make sure you guys catch the Pro Bowl games on ESPN. I'm just kidding, no. Honestly, the Pro Bowl games nowadays, it's, the mini games are fun, but all in all, the Pro Bowl has kind of lost its value. And you can't really blame the players for that. They don't really want to get injured. They don't really want to, they don't want to necessarily put their bodies through harm that they don't necessarily have to endure. But I feel like, Pro Bowl weekend, it should be a little bit relevant. So, I think, a pretty awesome thing that would be pretty awesome to bring back, the Pro Bowl weekend would definitely be, I would love to see the number 1 spot, the 2 spot for the Wild for the draft go at it in a game, and the winner gets the number 1 pick. That'd be pretty cool. At least that's what I would do. Obviously, that's what I would do because I feel like it would bring so much fans' attention. But I don't think Roger Goodell's really going to be into that. But I don't know. It should be an interesting. We got Team Peyton, we got Team Eli taking on each other in a brother versus brother battle royal to find out who is the superior Manning. I'm just kidding. No. I saw that from a commercial. I thought that was actually pretty badass. It was kind of funny. But yeah, we're gonna find out. Who represents the NFL, the AFC or the NFC. Obviously, we do have the Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Who do you guys have, the Eagles or the Chiefs? But we're here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. So make sure you guys, grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. So, we have a great show for you today, all lined up. We have our WWE Monday Night RAW recap. We have our NXT review. We're going to talk about Jordynne Grace signing with the WWE. We're going to talk about Baron Corbin on his remarks on a potential WWE return. And then our 5th and final segment, we're going to get into some TNA. Usually I do TNA and Ring of Honor like back to back in the same in the same segment, but it always feels like that segment runs for such a long time. So I'm just like, let's see how it goes with just talking about 1 and 1. Right now we're gonna focus about TNA Impact on Thursday. We're gonna get into that, but of course before we go on moving on, just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that, that super chat, whether if you got a burning question or hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network. We are all ears. We just want you guys to make sure if you have dying to share something, if you want to get something off your chest, we are all ears. This show is all about keeping the conversation going lively, making sure you guys feel like your voice is part of the mix. So don't be shy, drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed, why not use that super chat? It's that little $sign there, which guarantees anything you guys put inside that little chat box, it's going to be featured, talked about, debated about, maybe even take place of a segment on the show. So we can maybe, if it's that juicy, can't wait to find out what you guys have to say. Also, it's a plus, it's a great way to, support the channel. Your super chats obviously keeps us, keeps the lights on these amazing podcasts with these amazing podcasters with one goal in mind, to make sure that we bring you the most awesome sports content that you guys loved so dang much. And, we are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on this show. Remember to, send those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, at the super chat, now your thing, it's all good. Make sure you guys hit up that tips and donations link. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here, the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. There's going to be some disagreements. There's going to be some criticisms. It's all good. It's already water under the bridge. It's all gravy, baby. Don't even worry about it. Make sure you guys feel absolutely 1,010% comfortable to speak on whatever you guys want to speak on, and we'll talk about it. All right, we have our WWE Monday Night RAW review. All in all, good episode. I know I said every single time I recap an episode, but this episode was actually pretty damn good. We had Seth Rollins kick off Monday Night RAW it feels like he's having a real crisis of character. The fans, they love CM Punk. The fans love CM Punk. The CM Punk redemption story has been prominent in terms of WWE for such a long time, even before he came back to wrestling. That though, the year of his hiatus, the fans kept randomly chanting CM Punk, CM Punk, CM Punk, and it gets to the point where usually, if you are in charge of storyline and creative development within WWE, maybe you would perhaps have Seth Rollins turn against the fans, defend himself, be like, you know what, Seth, you guys want to chant for CM Punk, guess what? You're no friends of mine. I'm happy that they haven't done that. I'm happy, yet. They haven't done that yet. I'm happy that they're actually sticking to, this is a storyline. This is the entertainment factor. You could still be a good guy and be booed. You can be a bad guy and be supported, but it's all part of the storyline. And the storyline between Seth Rollins and CM Punk is actually going pretty damn well. I don't really want to see, it going absolutely anywhere. Seth Rollins even said, they want to kick me down, but I will not stay down. Seth Rollins claims that he will win. He, usually a guy who does this, Seth Rollins especially, I see him lasting to probably the final 4, maybe the final 6, and, maybe he gets eliminated, and, it's him and CM Punk, the final 2 in the Royal Rumble. Right now, this Royal Rumble that we're having here in 2025, it's so up in the air. It's absolutely nuts with the men's and the women's. I honestly, obviously a huge favorite is CM Punk. CM Punk is definitely the favorite. At this point, I really don't see, I don't really see anybody else winning, and I don't really see anything else making sense. I can see maybe Seth Rollins and CM Punk getting each other eliminated, maybe fighting on the outside, or maybe Seth gets eliminated by CM Punk. Then he finds a way to kind of, get CM Punk outside the ring, and then he beats the holy hell out of him, and then it's the final 2, and then CM Punk comes running down the ramp. It's like, oh, CM Punk was never eliminated. Then he comes in and he does his thing and wins that trip to WrestleMania. But it's hard. It's hard because if you're WWE, and I'm nothing against CM Punk. You have an aging CM Punk. Do you really honestly want to let this guy, carry a championship? Because whoever wins the Royal Rumble this year is going to be a champion. It's going to be a champion. But overall, this whole Seth Rollins and CM Punk feud, I feel like, and I might be wrong, obviously this is my opinion, 1,010%, I feel like their feud could ultimately overshadow, a WrestleMania main event amongst, either one of them fighting Cody Rhodes or Gunther for their respective titles. But, it's still all up in the air. I really honestly don't really know who's going to come out, the men's Royal Rumble winner or the women's. I can't wait to find out this Saturday. And of course, Gunther comes out, starts cleaning stuff up. I liked how he started talking about his legacy. He defeated Jey Uso. He's defeated a lot of superstars that got in his way. And then Logan Paul comes out. Logan Paul makes his WWE Monday Night Raw debut, and it was, it was short of stellar. I got to be honest. He was booed a lot. He was ultimately kind of booed off stage a little bit. Nobody really wanted to hear what he had to say, which is kind of sad because you got to love the YouTube star there. But maybe he can be a great heel. Maybe he's this Netflix day and age era of professional wrestling. Maybe he's a heel. It works. He's a bad guy. People love, ultimately what you're trying to do in professional wrestling is to kind of, you're trying to cause a stir within the fans, either positive or negative. So, someone like Logan Paul, with all this access, with all the followers in terms of social media, you drop a bomb, you drop a promo, talking crap about something or someone that the fans love so damn much. They're going to like it. They're going to pay attention to it. They're going to get the attention. What's the old saying? Even bad publicity is good publicity, and that's honestly could explain the whole reason, or maybe the future storyline of what Logan Paul has to deal with. And, the future of his storyline, what makes sense in terms of WWE. It wouldn't surprise me if this, Netflix era, you have somebody like Logan Paul being the top heel in WWE. Honestly, at this point, I feel like it makes the most sense. You kind of have to do it. YouTube is, broadcasted all over the freaking world. Not YouTube, sorry, excuse me. Netflix. Logan Paul, he's a great superstar. He's a great superstar. A lot of people kind of have a lot of baggage between, the whole thing happening between him, the whole thing with his brother, a boxing YouTube star, making it big. Not a lot of people ultimately want to acknowledge their skills, their talents, their potential, mostly because I don't want to say it's jealousy. I don't want to say anything like that because obviously I don't want to put my neck out there. But, a lot of people are afraid to kind of take that next step. Logan Paul, Jake Paul, the two Paul brothers literally looked at each other and was like, you know what? Let's make something of ourselves. And they went out there and they did something that not a lot of people kind of had the guts to do. You have Jake Paul, Jake and Logan both did what they had to do, and then look at the position they're in now. You had Logan Paul fighting, in WrestleMania. You had, Jake Paul fighting someone like Mike Tyson, Well, no, I don't think Logan Paul fought in WrestleMania. No, I think he did. No, SummerSlam for sure. But overall, these guys have done immense things to ultimately propel their careers, ultimately make themselves a modern entertainment conglomerate just by themselves, and that's very admirable. And I feel like him coming back as a heel would be absolutely awesome. I would love to see it 1,010%. All right, next we see, what is it? Sami Zayn, obviously looking kind of pissed off at CM Punk. CM Punk said that Sami wasn't on his level. Then you saw Karrion Kross approach Sami Zayn. Obviously, Sami was like, you know what? I'm kind of done with this right now. Stop trying to get inside my head. I have all this other kind of BS to kind of deal with. Next, we have the WWE World Tag Team Championship match. We have the War Raiders taking on the Judgment Day, the team of JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. And this match was crazy. It was kind of, it was a little scary at the beginning of the match. You saw JD McDonough do a moonsault off the top rope trying to hit Ivar. And then, his head slapped in the back of the announce table. Only to find out, nothing wrong with this, his neck or his head or anything like that. When I say nothing wrong, obviously professional wrestlers, they kind of shake off a lot of injuries. But he has a punctured lung, and he's going to be out for a couple of months. Probably, I give it like 3 to 4 months. What's going to happen with the Judgment Day? I feel like this is perfect for the Judgment Day to finally kind of disband. No Finn Balor, no JD McDonough, Damian Priest, the thorn in their side that's been there ever since, they broke up. Along with Rhea Ripley, you have Damian Priest on WWE SmackDown. So, you're kind of starting fresh. This whole Liv Morgan thing of Raquel Rodriguez, kind of undermining Finn Balor, and the fans, they get it. They pay attention to stuff like that. But it just, I don't know. It just doesn't really seem like it's going anywhere. This is the absolutely perfect time to kind of have a breakup, maybe a feud between Finn and Dom, and then eventually everybody kind of goes their separate ways. But I feel like the people who kind of suffer the most is, well, not really Liv Morgan or Raquel Rodriguez, or really Dominic. I feel like it suffers more for JD McDonough and Carlito, who are, actually, without Finn Balor, and especially without Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, they're lost. They don't really have a storyline direction. They don't really have, something, they don't really have, a chair to stand on in terms of, if you're a WWE, higher up, what makes me want to sign you? You don't really have any, your time has already passed, and that's nothing against Carlito or JD McDonough. But right now, in terms of storyline on Monday Night Raw, where do they really fit? And the answer is nowhere. They really honestly don't belong anywhere. Finn Balor, Dominic, and, not really Dominic per se. But Finn Balor is literally keeping a lot of these storylines giving these guys a reason to live in terms of WWE. But, should be interesting to kind of find out what happens in the future. The War Raiders, obviously, they retain their WWE World Tag Team Championships. The New Day confronts Kaiser and Pete Dunne. backstage. They seem like they're actually kind of going toward the favorites there. I was like, okay, are they going to turn Kaiser and Pete Dunne, in the tag teams? Maybe. Rey Mysterio defeats Xavier Woods. Obviously, Xavier Woods, with the family turn, with the distraction. Jey Uso claims that he's going to be victorious. He was with Quavo. Obviously, for me, I'm like, okay, what's the big deal? But, it is what it is. People do like that kind of stuff. Lyra Valkyria declares herself inside the Royal Rumble. Ivy now looks like she would be the next one to challenge Lyra Valkyria. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are victorious over the WWE Women's World Tag Team Champions Bianca Belair, and Naomi Penta Acero Maito declares himself inside the Royal Rumble as well. Paul Heyman comes out to talk Roman Reigns. Says that Roman Reigns is in the mindset that he's going against everybody. Once again, Drew McIntyre comes out absolutely pissed and frustrated. And Drew actually cut a nice, good promo. I thought that was pretty badass. In the main event, we saw Drew McIntyre defeat Sami Zayn. At the end of the match, you saw Drew trying to take advantage of Sami Zayn's vulnerable state. You had Cody Rhodes come out. You saw Kevin Owens. And then once again, Sami Zayn makes some mistakes and he haluva kicks the WWE champion Cody Rhodes, and then you saw CM Punk talk to Cody Rhodes in the last moments of WWE Monday Night RAW, and it was actually kind of intense. It was pretty intense, but mostly kind of building up momentum toward the Royal Rumble. Once again, I feel like CM Punk obviously I feel like he kind of has this in the bag, but it is what it is. It could be I feel like it's gonna be great. It's gonna be one of the greatest Royal Rumbles of all time, and that's my opinion. Alright guys, so we do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about some WWE NXT. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go absolutely anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Hello, 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 and we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. Make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button to the show. All right, without further ado, let's go and jump on into our next segment. We got our WWE NXT review, but obviously before we get on into any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat, whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling here at the GSMC Sports Network. We want you guys to know that we are all ears, 1,010%. We want you guys to feel absolutely comfortable. Make sure you guys keep the conversation lively with your amazing, beautiful comments, so do not be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat, and if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed, why not use that super chat? Go ahead and whatever, basically hit that $ right there. It's going to guarantee anything you guys put inside that little box right there. That little chat box is going to be talked about, debated about, talked about, maybe even, take place of a segment if it's absolutely that juicy. I can't wait to hear your guys' professional wrestling hot takes, WWE, AEW, TNA, or just something that happens outside the ring. Tell me why John Cena is a crappy actor. Who knows? Maybe, maybe we might stem conversation off of that. But, who knows? Who knows? Obviously, your super chats helps us keep the lights on all these amazing podcasts and with all these amazing podcasters who have absolutely one goal in mind, to make sure you guys consume all the amazing sports content that you guys love so damn much on a day-to-day basis. We obviously, we are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. So don't forget to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network. So let's go ahead and keep this party going, guys. Let's, send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, and together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, if the super chat is not your thing, go ahead and hit up that tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here, the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. But of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. There's going to be some criticisms. There's going to be some disagreements. Guess what, guys? It's already water under the bridge. We want you guys to feel absolutely super comfortable. So I feel like you guys could state, give us your hot takes. We don't mind hot takes here at the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. All right, so make sure you guys feel absolutely ready to drop some knowledge on your brother. Your boy E here from the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. All right, without further ado, we got WWE NXT review. We kicked off with Bayley teaming up with the beautiful Madness, Giulia, the WWE NXT Women's World Champion, taking on Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade. This match was actually one of my favorite matches of the bout, and I'm going to tell you why. I felt like it was a great way for Roxanne to, she lost the championship. She lost the championship, but then again, she lost it to an international wrestling star. She had this gauntlet. You had Jordynne Grace. Then you had, you had the likes of Giulia. Then you had Stephanie Vaquer. Then all these girls are coming after her and her title. And, she was actually able to kind of stand her backbone here in this match. I feel like this is a great way for her to kind of be in this position where maybe she will challenge for her, she has a rematch clause, but it's going to be a NXT Vengeance. It's going to be a triple threat match with Giulia and Bayley. But I feel like ultimately this match was kind of left open to the point where it was like, you know what? And Roxanne Perez regaining that NXT Women's World Championship is not crazy whatsoever. I feel like this is also a great spot for her to kind of declare herself within the WWE Women's Royal Rumble. I felt like that was a nice spot for her as well in this, in this particular matchup. It shows that she has so much left in the tank. It shows that she has so much left in the tank. Will she leave NXT right now? Honestly, at this point, I feel like it wouldn't make sense for her to kind of do so, but then again, I feel like it could, because I feel like NXT, you have all these rising stars who want to be all they can be, like Stephanie Vaquer, like Giulia, like Lash Legend. You have all these amazing superstars that are coming, like Jordynne Grace recently signing with WWE, Zarya as well, Kaylani Jordan, Lola Vice. There's a lot. It's like the NXT women's division is so freaking stacked to the point where it's like, what, if we miss out on Roxanne Perez, I feel like she would be better. I honestly would love to see her challenge Lyra Valkyria on WWE Monday Night RAW. That's the woman that she defeated to become the NXT World champion for the second time. So that would be a nice little rekindled rivalry there. And, but Roxanne Perez is so damn impressive, and I can't wait to see what she has in the future. Later on in the show, we saw Cora Jade a little frustrated with Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez basically blaming their loss on Cora Jade, saying that, hey, she got pinned, I did not get pinned. So, obviously building up to that triple threat match. But, Cora Jade, I'm kind of happy that she's kind of standing up for herself. I feel like she does need a storyline on her own ultimately. I feel like she's going to be a prized possession in terms of, the NXT and TNA crossover. I feel like this is going to be a great spot for Cora Jade to finally kind of regain that confidence. Because the moment she came back, I feel like she had a lot of hype. I felt like ultimately, she was a championship contender, but then she joined Roxanne Perez, and then in their tag team bouts, most of the time they kind of got their arses cooked. They, mostly they were, they seemed like they were obsolete to the, opposing opponents. But Cora Jade standing on her own, I feel like that's something that's something that you have to do. That's something that I feel like she ultimately has to do, because when she's within Roxanne Perez, and I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but it kind of gives Roxanne Perez kind of like kind of like an excuse to lose. You always have that out. Oh, who's going to get pinned in a tag team match? Oh, don't worry, Cora will. We're not going to make Roxanne Perez look weak. And that's not right to Cora. I feel like right now, if Cora Jade, kicks open that door of being a singles competitor, I feel like she can definitely accomplish so damn much. And, I definitely can't wait to see, I can't wait to see it. Next, we have the Grayson Waller effect. We have them interviewing the WWE NXT World Heavyweight Champion Oba Femi. This was exactly what you guys were, thought it was going to be. Grayson Waller and Austin Theory, A-Town Down Under, pissing off Oba Femi to the point where he was going to get goaded into challenging them so they get a title shot. Not much of a surprise. I don't know what I don't know what WWE is doing with this tag team. I really want to see them split up, but Austin Theory being on his own, he was a Vince McMahon guy, and when he was on his own doing single stuff, didn't really work out. Bad bookings. You can make all the excuses in the world, but maybe it was a blessing in disguise. Maybe he's not ready to kind of do that kind of stuff. I personally don't see him as a WWE champion. I really honestly don't. And it sucks because he plays the part. He looks good. But the talented wrestlers right now that you have on the roster that ultimately can be the WWE champion or the World Heavyweight Champion, totally insurmountably in terms of talent, not really in terms of talent. That's not fair to Austin Theory. But I guess, name, image, likeness. Like, he would be a great heel champion. But I feel like ultimately him winning the championship right now would kind of remind me of like when Kevin Owens won the WWE Universal Championship, where every single time he defends, Grayson Waller finds a way to kind of help him retain the title, and then he's never really won anything on his own. And, it's not bad to be in that spot. It's not. You're a world champion, through in and throughout, so you can't really get upset about that. But, look at what happened with Kevin Owens. Look at the Kevin Owens effect. When he lost the championship to Goldberg, when he was with Chris Jericho, Jericho would always make sure that his best friend, Kevin Owens, would retain that Universal Championship. And it got to the point where people started looking at Kevin Owens, as weak, can't really do it on his own, can't really maintain, can't really be a face of a brand like WWE or SmackDown. And look at him now. People have the same overall perspective, at least in my opinion. I don't see him as a WWE champion. It sucks because he has talent, I agree. As the Intercontinental Mid-Card title, yeah, I feel like Kevin Owens is highly involved inside that territory. But, so WWE, obviously, with the whole thing with Austin Theory, then he ended up winning the United States Championship and, being a heel. And I feel like I think he won it from Bobby Lashley, which was an absolute, shocker. Something that probably should have never happened. But I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I want to see the great spot for Austin Theory, but at the same time, I just want to make it. It just has to make sense. Yeah. So Trick Williams comes out, obviously super pissed, and he's taken out by Oba. Then we have a match start. We got Wesley taking on Trick Williams. Wesley defeats Trick Williams via disqualification because Trick Williams absolutely went nuts. And obviously good for Wesley to kind of sneak one out of there. WWE NXT Women's North American Championship. We saw Fallon Henley defeat Shotzi. It was a good match. Stephanie Vaquera came out randomly after the match and was basically, Shotzi defeated her for the number one contendership. Obviously, there was a little black and gray areas, but then Stephanie Vaquera comes out and then automatically she gets granted a title match, which isn't bad. But, is Fallon Henley, ultimately like a place card, like a transitional champion, just so, Stephanie Vaquera could, she can understand the whole vibes of WWE NXT, just so she can, kind of get used to what it takes to fight inside that squared circle. She's been all around the world fighting, especially, in the CMLL, the former New Japan Professional Wrestling's Women's Strong Champion. And then she comes out to just, demand a title shot. I'm not totally against it. I know the star power that Stephanie Vaquero ultimately kind of has. But, with this with the fatal influence, Jasmine Nix, JC Jane, and of course the NXT Women's North American Champion Fallon Henley, you kind of have to play this delicate because, you can propel somebody's career, which would be, Stephanie Vaquero becoming the new champion. And you would just see, Henley's, Jane's, and Jasmine Nix's, career kind of falter a little bit. So I feel like WWE NXT creative really had, they kind of have to be careful in terms of that. Keilani Jordan, backstage talking to Carmen Petrovich, kind of showing the heel tendencies once again, kind of showing that she could be, she could be a B word, and then, she was talking to Carmen. She was like, but Shanti's going to leave your ass again. And then Petra was like, oh, what a, it was pretty entertaining. It was kind of cool. Obviously, they're going to face in a one-on-one match next week on NXT. Ethan Page defeats Cedric Alexander, tries to attack Alexander once again, but Javon Evans comes out to rescue. Women's World Tag Team Championships. I got to be honest, this was a great match. Very, very controversial ending, but Naomi and Bianca Belair retain. Jakara Jackson and Last Legend obviously have no reason to hang their heads. They are the future of WWE, and they did so damn well. I can't wait to see what they have to do. Well, what the potential that they have, heading, when they go to WWE SmackDown or maybe even Monday Night Raw. I feel like Jakara Jackson, Last Legend, super impressive. Naomi, Bianca, they gotta drop the titles. They gotta drop the titles to somebody. I don't know who it's going to be, but we gotta get ready for when Jade Cargill comes back, and I feel like she's also a heavy favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble. But NXT overall, good show. All right, guys, so do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about Jordynne Grace signing with the WWE. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
Alright, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about, contract negotiations, inactive statuses, injury updates from promotions like WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor to Stardom to New Japan Professional Wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show 1010%. So don't forget to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show so you guys can get some notifications when we go live. All right, without further ado, let's go and jump on into our next segment. We got Jordynne Grace, the juggernaut of TNA, signs with the WWE. Honestly, a lot of people kind of saw it coming. Obviously, kind of donate to the show. Make sure you guys follow the show, follow the network, hit up those super chats. But Jordynne Grace is great. Jordynne Grace is great. Huge signing by WWE. it is no surprise that, WWE can land a big fish like Jordynne Grace. Will she necessarily kind of take a first baby step into this into the arena, so to speak, of WWE? I feel like she could right off the bat win the Royal Rumble. This changes things immensely. That means that she's going to for sure be in the Royal Rumble, and she could win. She could definitely challenge Tiffany Stratton. She can challenge Rhea Ripley as well. Her and Rhea Ripley obviously have a lot of good chemistry together. They established backstage, obviously, with the partnership with TNA and WWE NXT. But we're going to see Jordynne Grace. What number will she be? I'm going to go out on a limb and be like, I'm going to say number 15. She's going to come out number 15. You're going to hear her badass Juggernaut theme song, and then bam, she's going to come out, maybe even potential win it. She's going to be the Final Four, definitely 1,010%. She came on last year's WWE Royal Rumble, and it was a complete shock. Everybody loved it. I loved it. When I saw her, I, jaw to the floor, and all the stuff that she's been doing with WWE NXT as well just means it's going to be so damn great, which means that you could probably pencil in Roxanne Perez coming into the Women's Royal Rumble as well. Like I was talking about in the earlier segments, I feel like this WWE Royal Rumble is going to be star-studded. So it has to be memorable. There has to be a shock factor. For the men's, I'm like, you know what? I'm banking my money on CM Punk. But for the women's, Jordynne Grace comes in, Roxanne Perez, Charlotte Flair returns, freaking Becky Lynch. Who else? Asuka, Alexa Bliss. Oh my God, the Women's Royal Rumble is probably going to be badass. A lot of people are kind of contemplating on maybe a return by AJ Lee. I'm not going out on a whim that much and saying that. But, it could happen. It could definitely 1,010% happen. I wouldn't dispute the fact that she's going to make her official WWE debut at the Royal Rumble. Jordynne Grace, she flew to the Performance Center after TNA Genesis. She's canceled all of her independent wrestling appearances this weekend in Texas. Grace is, currently in Indianapolis this weekend. She's been locked into a multi-year deal into WWE. WWE absolutely made sure that Jordynne Grace did not hit the free agency market. They wanted to lock her up as quick as possible to make sure that she was going to bring her talents, her God-given gift in terms of professional wrestling, the juggernaut of the women's division in NXT, well, now of all of professional wrestling, to WWE. And this was one of the quickest signings in WWE history. Not a lot of people kind of ultimately can wrap their heads around this. People don't really get the fact that, women's wrestling is, it's kind of, it's amazing. It's amazing. NXT women's division is insane. Adding somebody like Jordynne Grace could be, it's going to be the best thing in the world of professional wrestling for fans, for the company. Ticket sales, merchandise sales, it doesn't matter. Jordynne Grace brings that much heat to your wrestling promotion. And, being in WWE NXT for the, she was there for a little bit. She kind of dipped her feet in a little bit. At this point, I feel like she's kind of fought people. She's fought in, a lot of people. She was in that 5-on-5 women's, tag team match. Damn, what was it? Sorry, excuse me. Was it not War Games? No, it was New Year's Evil? I think it was New Year's Evil. It was a big 5-on-5 women's tag team match where she teamed up with Zarya, Keilani Jordan, Stephanie Vaquer, and Giulia, against Fatal Influence, Roxanne Perez, and, Cora Jade. Her in WWE NXT would be great. But I feel like she's already done that. Why not put her in a position where she could do something more? Maybe, if she's on SmackDown, if you're Chelsea Green, the Women's United States Champion, I would be super worried about your title run. I would. I'd be like, okay, bam, it's over. I'm just kidding, no. I'm not trying to be mean or anything like that. But that's just something that Jordynne Grace can do. That's something that she can bring to your wrestling, promotion. Will she win the Royal Rumble? Wild card, maybe. My favorite to win the Women's Royal Rumble has to be Jade Cargill. Because I feel like, in terms of Bianca Belair and Naomi and everything about who attacked her, I feel like it'd be great. I feel like it would be great 1,010% for her to win the Royal Rumble, because then it would create, she has a title shot, Bianca doesn't, some animosity between the two. But, Jordynne Grace could definitely fall into that category as well. She'd be kind of like that underdog, not an underdog kind of person. She goes up against, I doubt Tiffany Stratton, probably against Rhea Ripley, and they have a one-on-one, because Rhea Ripley, my huge thing about Rhea Ripley is that she's so damn good. She's too powerful. She's too much of a good wrestler. She's, she's too good to lose. Kind of like that Brock Lesnar effect in the WWE men's division. But Jordynne Grace ultimately kind of locks that up. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe she makes her way onto WWE Monday Night Raw in the main event scene. I like it. I feel like it fits. It fits 1,010%. But obviously only time will tell right now. Grace, like I said, is insanely talented. One of the quickest signings in WWE history. Will she win the Royal Rumble? That's something that's been on my mind throughout the past couple of days. It's kind of like, in the NFL, you have Jaden Daniels making it to the NFC Championship game. Can Jordynne Grace make it to the WrestleMania? But there's so many other women's wrestlers that could, with the storylines. I feel like maybe Jordynne Grace might find a way to kind of have a storyline within the match. And I know that happens all this time with the Royal Rumble, where she'll be eliminated by somebody, then gets pissed off and then comes back in, or vice versa, or she's and that could happen. That could definitely happen. But as of right now, Jordynne Grace is a WWE superstar, signed, sealed, delivered, ready to kick some ass. I, for one, cannot wait to see her reign supreme in the WWE. There's no doubt in my mind that she's going to be a multi-champion, anytime soon. So I can't wait to see it. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We got Baron Corbin in the news once again in terms of professional wrestling, talking about a potential WWE return. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time here. Let's talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage, curtain calls, rumors, dramas. We talk about injury updates, inactive statuses, contract negotiations, extensions. In terms of wrestlers, we talk about promotions like WWE, TEW, to the TNA, to Ring of Honor. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So make sure you guys, Superman, punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network. All right, without further ado, we're going to talk about Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin, once again, is in wrestling news, talking a potential WWE return. Baron Corbin spent about 12 years inside the WWE, and then he saw shockingly he part ways with WWE last year. You've seen him recently compete inside of a GCW event, according to an interview with Insight with Chris Van Fillet. He said that he would turn down an offer from WWE if he was given ultimately the chance. Corbin shared that the new audience WWE is currently bringing in with this new Netflix era has basically his character would be, kind of have a stigma. You know, he thought his run in WWE NXT would ultimately restore his character on the main roster. And, you know, he's kind of right. He's definitely kind of right in terms of, you know, I feel like WWE, in terms of Monday Night Raw on Netflix, you kind of already, I feel like you kind of, you know, when you sign a contract, like what Netflix wanted, they wanted CM Punk, they wanted Cody Rhodes, they wanted Roman Reigns, they wanted the whole Bloodline storyline to kind of be aired solamente on WWE Netflix, you know, so, you know, Monday Night Raw on Netflix. But, you know, Baron Corbin, I feel like he could have had a great character. I do. I feel like 1,010%. He's had so many, he's had chances. He's definitely had chances. But then again, due to bad booking, and I honestly do not put any of this on Baron Corbin. The guy's, you know, Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner. He's Golden Gloves boxer. You know, he's good. He really is. He's talented. He's physical. He can, you know, he could definitely, you know, rough it up inside the squared circle with the best of them, including Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, John Cena, and, you know, basically anybody. And it just ultimately boils down to the fact that when this guy won the Money in the Bank, he kind of, you know, Baron Corbin is known not backstage, kind of he's known by anybody of kind of being a hothead. You know, he's a little bit of a hothead. Who isn't? You know, who isn't? Especially when you have dumb creative officials, you know, tell you what you're going to do. And it was, you know, it seems, you know, hey, man, do Happy Corbin. Hey, guess what, man? You're going to be broke as hell. You're going to be broke, sad-ass Corbin. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be Constable Corbin. He went through so many different character changes, and Baron Corbin, literally, he went out there, looked him dead in the eye. He was like, you know what? I think it's stupid as hell, but I'm going to do it. And he went out there and he performed to a T. He did it great. Fans believed it. I definitely believed it. I thought Baron Corbin's character died ultimately when he lost his hair, and when he was this lone wolf badass from WWE NXT, making it to WWE SmackDown, winning the Money in the Bank. I thought this guy was gonna come out and just absolutely run rampant, absolutely be the talk of the town. I wanted to see this guy literally hurt people. I wanted to see something like that. But like I said, you know, you don't cross the boss. You know, he according to reports, he went off on WWE officials. I don't know if it was Bruce Pritchard. I don't know if it was Vince McMahon himself. But then after that, he got banged. He got effed after that. It sucks. It sucks. He was very talented. Had a very promising start. He lost the Money in the Bank match, and then with the whole thing with John Cena and stuff like that. And it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. I don't know if Vince McMahon kind of went out on a limb to make sure Baron Corbin was made an example of, and then he went off and started. But it wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. Later on down the line, you found out that Kurt Angle's whole angle or spiel or storyline with Jason Jordan being his illegitimate father. You know, it was a joke by Vince McMahon, about I know Kurt Angle's had a lot of history with, African American, women. And then he has an illegitimate son with Jason Jordan. And, according to reports, he made that storyline up. It was to trash Kurt Angle. It was to trash Kurt Angle when he came back from TNA. Make an example of him. Don't cross the boss. You come back, yeah, you could be the general manager of Monday Night Raw. Oh, but then my daughter and her badass husband's gonna come in and make you feel absolutely like crap, make you feel absolutely obsolete. And that Baron Corbin got the right hand of Vince McMahon as well. And back then, I don't know if any of you guys watched this, the Vince McMahon documentary, Mr. McMahon, on Netflix. This caused a lot of problems with Vince McMahon because, he would mostly let his temper get the best of him. He would mostly, feel like he is always right. There's most of the time where he would book bookings for SmackDown and Raw, but then the next week not remember it. And so you would see, things kind of happen over and over again, like a wash, rinse, and repeat cycle, like you're looking at a freaking dishwasher. And I feel like Baron Corbin is one of those people who suffered the most of it. He definitely did 1,010%. WWE creative never really knew how to handle his talents. How to, why get rid of the lone wolf? Everybody loved it. everybody absolutely 1,010% loved it. And then, he becomes King Corbin. Yeah, you win the King of the Ring, that's cool. It's an achievement. You win the Money in the Bank, but never really cash it in successfully. That's not really such a big deal. It's how Baron Corbin literally went. And, it's kind of crazy because the whole storyline seems like it makes sense. But, of course, it was ultimately portrayed vice versa, where you had, poor Corbin, and then you had happy Corbin. But in this case, it was happy Corbin, and then semi-consolidated Baron Corbin, then semi-happy Baron Corbin, to the point where it was like, you know what? Get me out of here, Baron Corbin. And then Baron Corbin went down to NXT. Like he said, he thought it was ultimately going to revamp his career. He did great. Him with Braun Breaker, a lot of talent. He had a lot of talent. I feel like, and he even said it himself. He even said it himself that when he got demoted down to WWE NXT, he knew it was a punishment. And Bruce Pritchard basically told him it was a punishment. Basically said, hey, this is what we're going to do with you. And they were planning on him to fail. They were planning on him to fail to be ultimately released at the end of his contract. And that did not happen. That did not happen. With the NXT, he was successful. People loved him. Him with, with Braun Breaker. Then he makes it to SmackDown. Not good storylines. None whatsoever. Here and there tag team with Apollo Crews, and they were actually pretty cool together, I gotta be honest. But you add that sinking ship to a giant ass iceberg, it's gonna sink. It's gonna sink, and that's exactly what happened with Baron Corbin when he came back to SmackDown. I feel like ultimately maybe somebody in the back of WWE was like, all right, you know what? This plan of sending Baron Corbin down to NXT to fail is not working, guys. It's not working. Send him back to SmackDown. We need this guy out of here. And they sent him to SmackDown, and that's exactly what happened. He was in, he was in matches here and there and the other, and then, like I said, that tag team with Apollo Crews, it was okay. It wasn't bad. And then at the end of the day, he gets released. Absolute shocker. It was one of the most shocking moments that I remember opening up Instagram and I saw it. I was like, dude, that's insane. That's BS. That's terrible. He did not deserve that. I feel like he will maybe eventually come back to WWE. Maybe when WWE officials, don't really have their head up their asses. And, it kind of hurts to say, and it kind of sucks. Because I read reports, I think, who was it? I think it was a report by Ronda Rousey saying that basically if Bruce Pritchard is still in WWE, you still have Vince's voice, talking into his ear, and talking about it, in terms of not necessarily creative, but in terms of, who's going to be the next guy, who's going to be the next success in WWE, who's going to be this, who's going to be that. And it got to the point where it was like, even though, they're saying all these people are, with the whole Janelle Grant allegations from Vince McMahon and, all the settlement and stuff like that, new people are going to come in to change WWE. It's not going to be the same anymore. It's not. But then only to find out later on, it's, it's kind of really been the same. And, but obviously in terms of what's going on in terms of the Paul Levesque era, it is different. It is different, and that's great. That's fantastic. But according to reports, a lot of people think that the culture in WWE headquarters, thought that things would get better when he kind of saw the departure of Vince McMahon. But, I guess people think that it's more or less kind of the same, maybe a little bit better. So I feel like you kind of have to, handle that internally, get it better, and then maybe you might be able to kind of handle talent like somebody like Baron Corbin to the point where you can kind of bring him back. I wasn't I wasn't the biggest Baron Corbin guy. I wasn't. Of course, when he came in NXT the first time, I loved it. I thought that was super cool. I thought the whole Lone Wolf thing, I thought it was badass. But, it just wasn't, it just wasn't for him. When he came back, I don't know. And, it is what it is. It is what it is. But, I don't know. Baron Corbin had this to say, and he said this, and I quote, "I've always done everything that I could. I've always been asked to do things. And guess what? I went out there and I did exactly what I was told to do." And like I was talking about earlier in this segment, he did that. He did that. Whether if it made him look absolutely, if it made him look like a jackass, if it made him look stupid as hell, he still went out there and he did it. But, ultimately, Baron Corbin, when you tell him to do a job, doesn't really necessarily mean that, you're going over or anything like that. He's going to go out there and, if you want him to make an ass out of himself, he's going to go out there and be the best at that. If you want him to go out there and be this dominant force, he's going to go out there and do that. If you want him to put young talent over, guess what? He's going to do it, although he's a young talent in and himself. But, it is what it is. Baron Corbin maybe coming back to the WWE might be up in the air, but then partially, maybe not. All right, guys, so we do not go anywhere. We're going to finish this night with some TNA Impact preview. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 20 seconds. So, hey, do not go absolutely anywhere. Hello. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about contract negotiations amongst superstars, extensions, and new signings amongst promotions like WWE to AEW to New Japan Professional Wrestling. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we're going to talk about it here on this show 1,010%. So make sure you guys smash that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show. Follow the network. All right, without further ado, we're going to cap off this amazing show with our fifth and final segment. We have some TNA Impact preview for January 30th, 2025, tomorrow. Can't wait for you guys to watch it. I think it's going to be pretty badass. I think it's going to, it's going to be pretty badass. We're going We're going to see Nick Nemeth kick off TNA Impact. After that tough loss to Joe Hendry at TNA Genesis, we're going to see the former TNA World Champion kind of show what's next. What is next for TNA? What is next for Nick Nemeth? What's next for Ryan Nemeth? What's next for... I feel like maybe them being a tag team together, I don't know if you put Nick into a position where he could turn heel, because you have a lot of baby faces. Last week on TNA Impact... last week you saw Josh Alexander, betrayed, and you kind of saw him maybe jumping into that babyface storyline potentially. And then you have Mike Santana as well. You have the returning Mustafa Ali, but Mustafa Ali can play a pretty good heel. We've seen that before. He left TNA for an undisclosed amount of time. Now he's back. Maybe Nick finds himself with Ryan, but Ryan, oh God, his brother's such a... can't even say it with a straight face. Talented. He's a talented, cocky, arrogant, self-fulfilled, or however you like to call it. And I don't know, maybe he might find a way to kind of, be with his brother to kind of, make a mark. Maybe he invoke his rematch, his rematch clause pretty soon. I think so. That'd be pretty badass. Maybe you see a face-to-face between him and Joe Hendry. I would love to see Nick Nemeth kind of stay on the same side where he is right now. Maybe he makes a run on WWE NXT. I feel like that's highly unlikely. I feel like a lot of TNA stars that had past baggage with WWE will never go back. Like, I really doubt Matt Cardona would come back and, be in the Royal Rumble and be like, woo, 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 that Zack Ryder kind of feel. Or Nick Nemeth coming back as Dolph Ziggler. That would be pretty interesting as well. But this Royal Rumble, I can't wait for the Royal Rumble. On Saturday, mark your calendars, guys. Can't wait to watch it. It's going to be so intense. It's going to be so awesome. But back to TNA. Back to TNA. So we're going to see the former X Division champion Mustafa Ali, who interrupted Mike Santana on Impact, officially announcing his return to the company. Now it looks like he's going to try to kick off his campaign to become the TNA World Champion as he takes on the Laredo Kid. I would love to see Mustafa Ali come back to WWE NXT, but obviously there's no 205 Live anymore. He still has that same name. He still has that Mustafa Ali name. And it would have surprised me. North American Championship, anybody? Maybe. Maybe you see a dream match like Wes Lee taking on Mustafa Ali, or Mustafa Ali taking on Javon Evans. Would be pretty badass. I gotta be honest. Would be pretty damn badass. That'd be pretty cool. Mustafa Ali coming back to TNA, signing a new contract, so it should be pretty badass. Should be pretty cool. Next, we have Ace Austin. Speaking of Wes Lee, taking on Wes Lee, NXT, obviously accompanied by Tyson and Tyreek. I feel like Tyson and Tyreek will get involved, and then maybe, just maybe, you see the Rascals coming back up Ace Austin, and then you see that rivalry rekindled between Zachary Wentz, Trey Miguel, and Wes Lee, former badass Rascals members. When they broke up, I gotta be honest, I was heartbroken. I wasn't ready for it. I think it was Great American Bash, they broke up. And then Wes Lee super kicks everybody, and you're like, no, why? Because it was such a great, kicking off this TNA and NXT partnership. You saw an amazing storyline, like Wes Lee ready to give up because he could not defeat Oba Femi for the NXT North American Championship, so he was going to hang up his boots. Then, of course, Zachary Wentz comes out, and Trey Miguel, they're trying to hype up their brother again to feel alive, to get that passion back into professional wrestling. Don't give up, man. Don't give up. You still got a shot. You still got a shot in terms of the world of professional wrestling. Just got to be patient. You got to be patient. And then Wes Lee, obviously turning his back on them. I feel like it'd be kind of poetic justice to have, Ace Austin kind of needing help against Wes Lee and Tyson and Tyreek, and then you see freaking the Rascals come back. That would be so cool. That'd be so awesome. Next, we have Eric Young and Josh Alexander taking on the Northern Armory. Former adversary Eric Young and Josh Alexander will team up against the Northern Armory. After the faction's betrayal of Alexander last week on TNA Impact, will Judas Icarus and Travis Williams use the match to make a statement, or will they basically end up losing? I do like this match. Like I said, you kind of have Josh Alexander. Now, what's next for him? His certainty in TNA right now is kind of up in the air. He has not yet signed a contract yet. I do not believe, unless it recently happened. Not recently happened. I've been keeping tabs on professional wrestling tabloids, but with the whole Eric Young thing, I love Eric Young. He's he's been with TNA for such a long time. I remember when I used to watch him back in 2006, and he was kind of like this wimpy figure. He'd always lose, get his ass kicked. And, look at him now. That's cool. It kind of reminds me of that Paul Rudd and, who the freak was it? Was it Jason Segel? No, Seth Rogen? And they're like, look at us. You know what I mean? But, I feel like him and Josh Alexander right now are a pretty good spot. I honestly would love to see Josh Alexander in the Royal Rumble. It should be pretty badass. Next on TNA Impact, we have Cora Jade in action after her shocking confrontation with the Knockouts World Champion Masha Slamovich at both the Genesis and last week's TNA Impact. NXT's Cora Jade will be in action on Thursday, and should be interesting to kind of find out who she takes on. For one, I do love myself some Cora Jade. I feel like she is talented. Ever since she came back, from when she came back to NXT, kind of being like a lapdog to the former NXT World Champion Roxanne Perez. I want to see her stand on her own. And I talked about it earlier in the show when I was talking about NXT in my second segment. I really honestly want to see Cora Jade stand on her own. And I feel like she could be such a great storyline, such a great promoter. She has the it girl factor to her. I would love to see her go up against, I'm not too sure about Masha though. Right off the bat, I feel like that kind of attention's like, okay, you're going to be this cocky, no good heel, and you're going to go right into the lion's den and probably lose. Then that's just going to make Cora Jade seem even more weak. But then again, Masha, she's had a decent reign so far. Maybe, just maybe, you see Cora Jade dethrone the TNA Knockouts World Champion, becoming the first ever WWE NXT superstar to hold a TNA Impact, title. I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that whatsoever. I feel like it'd be pretty cool. And now Roxanne Perez would, now she would be Cora's lapdog. So it's, if then Roxanne Perez gets jealous, wants a piece of Cora, There's so many storylines that could develop if Cora Jade defeats Masha Slamovich for that TNA Knockouts World Championship, and I would be absolutely all for it. We have Brian Myers taking on Leon Slater, and then Sami Callihan has been tormented by the mysterious number 23, who was revealed to be Steph D. Lander and Mance Warner. This whole digital media championship with the PCO, destroying the belt on GCW. I guess it was real. I guess, but it could be kayfabe. Maybe PCO comes back on Impact. Who knows? But, Steph D. Lander coming back, I like that a lot. I'm a huge fan of Steph. I love her work. But Sami Callihan, he's such a badass. I would love to see him, become the new digital media champion. But it'll probably most likely be Mance Warner. All this you can find out tomorrow night on TNA Impact on TNA Plus. So make sure you guys subscribe to kind of check it out. Make sure you guys Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the GSMC Sports Network. All right, guys. So, hey, that's it for me. Hope you guys had a great time. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, of course, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, make sure you check out all the other podcasts we have here at the GSMC Sports Network. We got baseball. We got college football. We have regular football. We have hockey. We have the NBA. You name it. Sometimes tennis. Who knows? Maybe. We have it all. We have it all. And if you want it now, subscribe to the GSMC Sports Network. Give you the Eric Rodriguez guarantee that you guys will never, ever, 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 ever regret, subscribing to such an amazing network that brings you, the fans, everything that you guys love and all the sports content that you guys love to consume on a day-to-day basis. Like I said, that's it for me tonight. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn ain't that great.